Hello everybody, Lurgs here, welcome to my channel, and today it's how to replace the rear reversing bulbs on the Vauxhall Vivaro, and this should be the same for the Renault Trafic, Nissan Primastar and the Fiat Talento, as these are virtually identical vans. And there's two reversing bulbs, one on either side, and these come on when you put the van into reverse. And this is exactly the same procedure for the bulb on either side. If you're going to be working on the Vauxhall Vivaro, make sure you've got a lovely cup of tea. And today I'm going to be replacing the rear reverse bulb on the driver's side, on the rear right hand side. If you've got a tailgate version of the van, just lift the tailgate up to get access to it, but this one's got the barn doors on the rear, so just open up the barn doors, and then for easier access just pull this handle out, which allows you to open the door even wider. That just gives you easier access to the bulb unit. Now in this bulb housing unit you've got the rear reversing bulbs and the fog light bulb as well. So you need to undo these screws here, which are Torx screws. It's like a star sprocket. Just undo both of those anti-clockwise. And you've only got these two screws. Once they are both removed, then it's just a little bit of a wiggle to get it out of the housing. Where my left hand is there, you've just got some small kind of plastic brackets which help hold it in place. And that is the unit there. Now it actually tells you on the back what the bulbs are. And these are 12 volts, 21 watts with parallel pins. These are pretty standard bulbs across most vehicles. Now to remove the bulbs from the bulb housing, you've got these two clips, one at the top and one at the bottom. What you do is you gently pull those away from the unit, so the top one pull it upwards and the bottom one pull it downwards, and then it will unclip from the housing. Make sure when it unclips that you don't drop the housing unit on the floor. Great stuff. Put the housing unit somewhere safe. And as I mentioned earlier, the top bulb is the rear reversing bulb. To remove that, push it inwards, turn it anti-clockwise slightly and then remove it. This is a blown bulb here, the filament's actually come out, but it may just be burnt, you might not be able to see it, so this definitely needs replacing. Now the replacement bulb I've got is a Lucas bulb, which is 12 volts 21 watts, and it's got parallel pins on it, so they're not offset pins. It's a very standard bulb for most bulbs on a vehicle. Before you put it in, check the connections, make sure they're not all rusty. If they are, just give that a quick clean with some light sandpaper. Put the bulb in, push it into the grooves, and then turn it clockwise to lock it in about 25 degrees. Now before you put it all back together, make sure you test it out. So I'm just going to put the ignition on, put it into reverse, make sure your foot is on the clutch even if it's not running. And that bulb is working fine. Now we can put it all back together again. So we need to put it back into the housing, which is a fairly simple process. Just line it up with the holes. And gently push it in at the top and the bottom. And then you'll hear the clips just clip in and lock it into place. That's nice and secure. Now we need to get the housing unit back into the rear mudguard. This just takes a little bit of wiggling and a little bit of force, but don't put too much force on it. You don't want to snap anything. So you need to kind of get these two clips behind that mudguard housing there. And then kind of just gently squeeze it, give it a little bit of a tap with your hand. It should just pop in. There we go, that's just popped in nicely there. Then take your screws, Always start them with your hands first, just so you don't cross thread it. Then take your Torx socket and then just tighten both of those up clockwise. Great stuff. I hope that all went well for you, and it's time for another brew, I think. There's also some other Vauxhall Vivaro videos around the edge of the screen which may be useful to you. Cheers!